Have you ever wondered why we fail? It's a question that, at some point, has likely crossed all our minds. You see, failure is a universal experience. It doesn't discriminate, touching each and every one of us, regardless of who we are or where we come from. Failure, in its most basic form, is a mismatch between expectation and outcome. We set a goal, we strive, and yet we fall short. But isn't it fascinating? This common thread that weaves through the tapestry of humanity. It's almost as if failure is an intrinsic part of our journey, yet as common as it is, failure remains an enigma. Why do we fail? Is it due to lack of effort or resources, or is it simply a matter of circumstances beyond our control? This riddle invites us to delve deeper, to understand its contours, its causes, and its consequences. After all, failure is not the end, but rather a stepping stone to success. Fear of failure is a common roadblock many of us face. It's a daunting shadow that looms over us, threatening to eclipse our dreams and aspirations. But what exactly is this fear, and where does it come from? Fear of failure, or atychiphobia, originates from a variety of sources. For some, it's the result of traumatic experiences that have taught us to associate failure with pain and disappointment. For others, it's a product of our upbringing, where high expectations and the emphasis on success have ingrained in us the idea that failure is unacceptable. This fear doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It permeates our thoughts and influences our actions and decisions. It's the nagging voice in the back of our heads that questions our abilities and whispers, "What if I fail?" It's the hesitation we feel when faced with a new challenge, or the reluctance to step out of our comfort zones. Now, let's talk about societal expectations. We live in a society that values success and frowns upon failure. This societal lens often magnifies our fear of failure. The thought of being judged or ridiculed by others can be paralyzing. We're often afraid that our failures will define us in the eyes of our peers, family, or society at large. But here's the thing. The fear of failure in itself can become a self-defeating prophecy. It can limit our potential, hinder our progress, and rob us of opportunities. It can prevent us from taking risks, exploring new ideas, or pursuing our passions. In essence, the fear of failure can, ironically, lead us to fail. So how do we combat this fear? How do we prevent it from dictating our lives? The answer lies not in eliminating the fear, but in understanding and managing it. It's about shifting our perspective, challenging societal norms, and embracing the idea that failure, in fact, is a stepping stone towards success. The fear of failure, more often than not, is the beginning of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So let's not let this prophecy define us. Let's redefine failure and rewrite our stories. Our minds play a significant role in how we perceive and react to failure. Now, let's delve into the intriguing world of psychology, where we can unwrap the mysteries behind our failures. A key player in this arena is self-doubt, an all-too-common psychological phenomenon. Self-doubt is that nagging voice in the back of our minds, questioning our abilities, undermining our confidence, and magnifying our fears. When we give in to self-doubt, we set ourselves up for failure. We become our own worst critics, creating an insurmountable barrier between us and our goals. Next, we have the concept of a fixed mindset. Coined by psychologist Carol Dweck, a fixed mindset is the belief that our abilities are set in stone. Those with a fixed mindset believe that failure is a testament to their innate lack of ability, rather than a stepping stone towards growth. This belief can cause us to avoid challenges and new experiences, stunting our personal and professional development. Lastly, we must address self-sabotage. This is an unconscious, psychological mechanism where we create obstacles that prevent us from reaching our goals. It's like we're driving with one foot on the accelerator and the other on the brake. We might procrastinate, become overly critical, or set unrealistic goals. All these actions stem from our fear of failure, leading us down a path of self-defeat. So how do these psychological factors contribute to our failures? Well, they create a negative feedback loop. Self-doubt undermines our confidence, leading to a fixed mindset where we see our abilities as limited. This, in turn, fuels our fear of failure, causing us to self-sabotage. And so the cycle continues. But here's the good news. By becoming aware of these psychological patterns, we can begin to break the cycle. We can challenge our self-doubt, adopt a growth mindset, and stop self-sabotage in its tracks. Understanding our psychological patterns is the first step towards overcoming failure. Resilience is the antidote to failure. Imagine a boxer in the ring, knocked down, but not knocked out. He's down, but he's not out. Why? Because he's resilient. He gets back up, dusts himself off, and gets ready to swing again. That's resilience. And just like that boxer, we too need resilience in the face of failure. Failure can be crippling. It can make us feel like we're stuck in a dead end with no way out. But resilience? Resilience changes the game. It transforms that dead end into a detour. It helps us view failure not as the end of the road, but as a bend in the journey. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. It's the capacity to keep going when things get tough. It's the grit and determination that pushes us forward, even when we've been knocked back. And when it comes to overcoming failure, resilience is key. You see, resilience turns failure into a learning opportunity. It encourages us to ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of lamenting, why did this happen to me? It shifts our perspective from despair to hope, from stagnation to growth. Resilience also empowers us to take risks. It reassures us that even if we fail, we can get back up, learn, and try again. It reminds us that failure is not a reflection of our worth, but a stepping stone on the path to success. So, how do we cultivate resilience? It begins with a mindset shift. We need to accept that failure is a part of life, not something to be feared or avoided. We need to understand that it's okay to make mistakes, as long as we learn from them. The journey towards success is often paved with failures, but with resilience, we can navigate these failures and use them to our advantage. We can use them as stepping stones, as lessons to learn and grow from. Remember, resilience is not about never falling, but about getting up every time we fall. It's about turning setbacks into comebacks and failures into lessons. With resilience, every failure is a lesson, and every lesson brings us one step closer to success. Knowing why we fail is half the battle, the other half is knowing how to overcome it. So, let's dive into some practical strategies that can help you navigate the rocky terrain of failure. Firstly, it's crucial to develop a growth mindset. This is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through hard work, good strategies, and input from others. When you have a growth mindset, you view failure not as evidence of unintelligence, but as a heartening springboard for growth and for stretching your existing abilities. Another key strategy is setting realistic goals. Ambition is important, but so is practicality. If your goals are too lofty, the likelihood of failure increases, and so does the potential for disappointment. But when you set achievable goals that stretch you just a bit beyond your comfort zone, you create a positive feedback loop of small victories that build confidence and resilience over time. Thirdly, practice self-compassion. This means being gentle with yourself when you fail. Instead of berating yourself for falling short, recognize that failure is a universal part of the human experience. You are not alone in your struggle, and it's okay to be imperfect. In fact, it's more than okay. It's normal, it's human, and it's an integral part of the journey towards success. It's also important to remember that failure is temporary. It doesn't define you. It's just a moment in time, a learning opportunity. So don't let it discourage you. Instead, let it inspire you to try again, to learn and to grow. Lastly, cultivate resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from failure, to keep going even when things are tough. It's a muscle that can be strengthened over time with practice and patience. These strategies are not a quick fix, but a journey towards a healthier relationship with failure. So, embrace the journey, keep moving forward, and remember, failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Embracing failure is the ultimate key to success. It might sound counterintuitive, but it's a truth widely accepted among the most accomplished individuals. Imagine if Thomas Edison had given up after his first few unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. Or If J.K. Rowling had stopped writing after being rejected by 12 publishers, failure isn't something to be feared or avoided. It's a stepping stone, a learning opportunity. It's through failure that we gain invaluable insights, learn our strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately grow. When we start viewing failure not as a dead end, but as a detour on the road to success, we begin to unlock our true potential. So the next time you stumble, remember that it's okay to fail. It's okay to fall. What matters is that you get up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Because every setback is a setup for an even greater comeback. Remember, failure is not the opposite of success, but a part of it.